I am Vatsupati. Today I am here to discuss about the fundamental concepts of configuration manager. And the fundamental concepts are fundamentals of security for configuration manager, fundamentals of role-based administration of configuration manager, fundamentals of content management. Firstly, we have to discuss about the fundamentals of security for configuration manager. There are security layers for the configuration manager, and it consists of these following layers: Windows OS and network security. Windows infrastructure consists of firewalls, intrusion detection, public infrastructure. Configuration manager security controls, SMS provider and site-based permissions. Firstly, Windows OS and network security. The first layer is provided by Windows security features for both the OS and network. This layer includes the following components: file sharing to transfer file between configuration manager components, access control list to help secure files and register keys, internal protocol security to help secure communications, group policy to security policy, distributed component object model permissions for distributed applications like the configuration manager access, activity directory domain services to store security principles, Windows account security including some groups that configuration manager creates during setup. And the next one is network infrastructure. Network security components like firewalls and intrusion detections helps provide defense for the whole environment. Certificates issued by industry standard public key infrastructure implementations helps provide authentication, signing and encryptions. Configuration manager security controls. By default, any local administration have rights to the files and register keys that the configuration manager console requires on computers where you install it. SMS provider. The next layer of security is based on access to the SMS provider. The SMS provider is a configuration manager component that grants a user access to query the site database for information. The SMS provider primarily exposes access through Windows management instrumentation, but also REST API called the administration service. By default, access to the provider restricted to members of the local SMS admins group. The group at first contains the user who installed configuration manager. To grant other accounts permissions to the common information model repository and the SMS provider, add the other accounts to the SMS admins group. You can specify the minimum authentication level for the administration to access configuration manager sites. The featuring enforces administrations to sign in to Windows with the required level. And the next fundamental is the fundamentals of role-based administration for configuration manager. Role-based administration. Configuration manager uses role-based administration to help secure objects like collections, deployments, and sites. The administration model centrally defines and manages hierarchy, wide security access settings for all sites and site settings. An administrator assigns security roles to administrative users and group permissions. The permissions are connected to different configuration manager object types, for example, to create or change client settings. Security scopes include specific instances of object that an administrative user is responsible to manage, for example, an application that installs the configuration manager console. The combination of security roles, security scopes and collections define the object that an administrator user can view and manage. Configuration manager installs some default security roles for typical management tasks. Create your own security roles to support your specific business requirements. And the last point is the fundamental of content management. First, we have to discuss about the configuration management. Configuration management supports a robust system of tools and options to manage software content. Software deployments such as applications, packages, software upload, and OS deployments of all need content. Configuration manager stores the content of both site services and a distribution point. This content requires a large amount of network bandwidth when it is being transferred between locations. To plan and use the content management infrastructure effectively, first understand the available options and configurations. Then consider how to use them to best fit your networking environment and content deployment needs. Accounts used for content management. The following accounts can be used with the content management. Network access account, used by clients to connect to a distribution point and access content. If allowed, the client first tries anonymous authentication. Then it tries Windows integrated authentication with the computer account or network access account. Package access account. By default, configuration manager grants access to the content on a distribution point to the generic access accounts, users, and administrators. However, you can configure additional permissions to resist access. Bandwidth throttling and scheduling. Both throttling and scheduling are options that help you control when both the contents is distributed from a site server to distribution points. These capabilities are similar to but not directly related to bandwidth controls for site-to-site file-based replication. Binary and differential replication. Configuration Manager uses binary differential replication (BDR) to update content that you had previously distributed to other sites and to remote distribution points. To support BDR's reduction of bandwidth usage, install the remote differential compression feature on distribution point. BDR minimizes the network bandwidth used to send updates for distributed content. It resends only the new or changed content instead of sending the entire set of content source file each time you change those files. When BDR is used, Configuration Manager identifies the changes that occur to the source files for each set of the content that you previously distributed. So I think all of you understand the topic I am taken. Thank you.